Maybe your first mountain bike was something like this. It only cost you a few $100s and it worked reliably on the trails. However, you have ridden it beyond its intended use. You want to upgrade, but maybe you don't have enough cash to get a completely new bike, so you're considering buying new parts and upgrading piece by piece. But before you go down the upgrade route, there are two questions you should ask yourself. First, is my mountain bike even upgradable? And second, would it be worth it to upgrade? In this video, we're going to be breaking down most major bike components to discuss the upgrade potential and the compatibility of each component. Let's start out by discussing wheel sizes. Modern mountain bikes primarily come in two different wheel sizes, 27.5 and 29. If your bike is designed for 27.5 inch wheels, you cannot upgrade to 29 inch wheels, but there is one exception: 27.5 plus bikes can accept 29er wheels. There are two primary ways that wheels are mounted to bikes. Quick release skewers or QR skewers are commonly found on entry-level mountain bikes. If your frame has dropouts like this, then your bike was designed to accept QR wheel sets. More expensive bikes will generally come with through axles. These are stiffer and thread directly into your bike's frame. If you want a wheel set that has through axles but your frame takes quick release, there are some adapters you can buy. Most riders will want to upgrade to a wider range of gears, but before you upgrade, you need to see if your bike has a cassette or a freewheel. A freewheel will commonly be found on less costly bikes. Freewheels spin independently from the wheel, which means the ratcheting device is built into the rear sprocket. On the other hand, cassettes do not spin by themselves. They mount to a spline, otherwise known as the cassette body, which free spins. If your bike does have a freewheel, your options for upgrading are pretty much limited to the Shimano Mega range. If you want to upgrade to a cassette, you will have to upgrade to a hub that accepts cassettes, but I think it will be easier for most riders to upgrade to a rear wheel that has a cassette body already installed. If you do decide to upgrade your cassette or freewheel, you need to ensure that your derailleur is compatible with the cassette. If you are changing to a 10-speed cassette from an 8-speed, make sure that your derailleur can work with 10 gears. Most derailleurs will be labeled with how many gears they are designed to work with. Derailleurs also come in short, medium, and long cage lengths. The wider range the cassette, the longer the derailleur cage needs to be. If you do upgrade to more gears, you will also need to upgrade the chain to one that is designed to work with that many gears. If you decided to increase your bike's gears, you will need to upgrade your shifter, which can be problematic if you have a combined brake assembly. Standalone shifters are easy to install and relatively inexpensive. A common component riders will look to upgrade is their front chainring. You need to know that there are three types of chain rings. There's a triple like the one shown, a double, and a single chain ring. Almost all entry-level bikes come with a triple chain ring and a front derailleur. The triple chain ring can be easily changed to a double or single, provided that it isn't riveted together. This front chain ring is held in by a few fasteners, which can be easily removed. However, my cheap triple chain ring is riveted together, which means I have to replace the whole crank arm with the chain ring. The bike's bottom bracket is commonly upgraded, especially if you're changing out your front chain ring and crank arms. Most entry-level bikes will come with a square taper bottom bracket. You'll find that most crank arms will be compatible with external bearing bottom brackets, but don't worry, your old square taper bottom bracket can be easily upgraded to a BSA external bearing bottom bracket. Both of these bottom brackets use the exact same threads that are in your bottom bracket shell. And here is a common example of an external bearing bottom bracket. Most budget bikes will come with heavy coil forks, but before you upgrade to something better, you will need to see what kind of steer tube your bike has. Straight steer tubes are commonly found on lower end bikes, which measure in at 1 1/8 inch in diameter. A straight steer tube cannot accept a tapered fork. On the other hand, this bike has a tapered head tube which accepts tapered forks. The diameter goes from 1 1/8 inch at the top down to 1 1/2 inch at the bottom race. Also ensure that the mounting system for your wheels is correct. You don't want to buy a through axle fork if you have a QR wheel set. Most decent mountain bikes will come with disc brakes installed, which is a good thing, but if your brake lever is combined with your shifter and you wanted to upgrade the gears from earlier, you're going to need a standalone lever. If your bike happens to have rim brakes, you are out of luck when it comes to upgrading to disc brakes. Your bike will not have the required mounting points needed to install the disc brakes. Lastly, we're going to look at upgrading the handlebars. Bikes commonly ship with 31.8mm diameter bars, but I have purchased 2 bikes that came with 25.4mm bars, and of course there is always some new trend with mountain bikes, so now they even have 35mm bars. Upgrading to thicker and wider bars is inexpensive and fairly easy. However, if you currently have 25.4mm bars and you want to upgrade to 31.8mm bars, you need to upgrade your stem as well, because the smaller stem, the diameter isn't big enough to fit around the newer bars. So that's pretty much it for all the major components of the bike. I hope this video showed you that sometimes upgrading your bike can be more of a hassle than just buying a whole new one. My advice is don't get too caught up in upgrading a bike that you won't get any money out of. If you have a low-end bike that comes with a Freewheel setup and you want more gears, just realize that you're going to have to upgrade your rear wheel, the derailleur, and shifter. It's not really a good investment. I would just recommend buying a new bike. But at the end of the day, this is just my advice. So go ahead and do whatever you think is going to benefit you most out on the trails. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos, and if you like content like this and want to see more, please like and subscribe.
You're good, I'm further.